The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, we talk trends in gaming.
Shall we play a game?
You've got several things to do. You've got work, kids in school. What do you do when it's all over?
How do you hand something from one player to another?
Dark soul lights. Turn on the TV, pick up the controller and play some games with the
Welcome to another episode of Nude Clan, the video game podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
Also Caleb.
And Cameron.
And today we are going to be talking about all of those annoying-ass trends that we've experienced in gaming over the years and kind of get all Nudestradamus and try to figure out what the next big phase is going to be for gaming. So stay tuned for that. We're going to get into that in a bit. But before we do, if this is your first episode of Nude Clan, guys, we're a weekly video game podcast. We review games usually every other week, and then have some off-topic stuff. We have After Dark that we do, which is an extremely off-topic, and we have a great episode of that for you guys this week.
We do.
So if you haven't checked that out yet, please do. We have other podcasts on our podcasting network. The first and foremost of those, you guys are doing Dragon Quest Puff Puff Hour, a Dragon Quest podcast. You're gearing up for Dragon Quest 11.
We just had the Dragon Quest 9 episode come out, and a few other things will be coming out soon, and the 11 episode will be coming up as soon as you play that.
You guys are actually going to wait for me?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
As long as you actually fucking play it.
All right. We got that. We've got For a Few Chickens More, A Song of Schweiss and Johnson. Me and my buddy James do a Game of Thrones podcast. So if you're really into that show, into the books, into the whole lore of Westeros, you can check that out. It's a lot of fun. We have Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. If you guys like Final Fantasy, that's where you go to get all your FF fixins. And, of course, super sexy swinging fan fiction, Getting Fat with Caleb and Joe, also on the network. So, guys, if you can't get enough of us, I'm sure you'll be tired of us by the end of all of that. But everyone knows about all the podcasts, but what they don't know is what we've been playing this week. Craig, what have you been up to?
Oh, let's see. Played some Call of Duty last night. Played a little bit of Conan Exiles this week. Digimon World 3. And
Yeah, I heard about how you just took that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I'll have it done next week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And what the fuck else am I playing? Oh, yeah, I played Metro Last Light and some of the Surge and Samurai Showdown 5 Special.
Is it special?
It is special. It's a character who is so broken you can literally just stand there pressing R1 and beat the entire campaign.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is special sounding.
Yeah. I feel like that would be Cam's favorite character. She has a bow, and she's broken.
Okay. Well, I do like bow play, so...
I mean, you can block her attacks, and you won't take any damage, but that move is OP as shit.
Quick attacks, too. Sneak and quick, and then
You'd like
attacks are fun.
the eagle chick. I can't remember her name.
Would you rather have bow play or ball play?
Well, I think that goes without saying.
Okay.
Bow
Good.
play.
Is there any smacking involved?
Just a light tap.
Then I might have to go with bow play.
The kneading of the sack is all.
The kneading of the sack.
The old Chinese stress balls thing going on.
Yeah. Just lulls you right to sleep.
You just put your sack right there, Greg. That's all that happens.
All right, well, that's all I've been playing.
Awesome. What about you, Cameron?
Just on the tail end of getting everything moved into my new apartment. So when I have an outrageous amount of time to game, have been playing The Surge. Still having a lot of fun doing that, so highly suggest it.
Awesome. Is that really it, though? Just The Surge?
Yeah, that's all I've really played. I put in the disc to Resident Evil 2 into my PlayStation, finished the download, was on the part where I was going to select what story I wanted to play first, and then turn off the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have time to play it.
Well, you almost made it.
Almost.
You almost beat the game at that rate. It's it's not a very long game, but...
Oh. Well, I guess I'll find out sometime soon if The Surge doesn't make me want to come back to it, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. I played a bit.
Oh, I played some Final Fantasy NT.
Oh, yeah,
as well.
that's right.
Yeah.
So I played Dissidia Final Fantasy Dudekheim this week. And after that, I played a little bit of Dissidia Final Fantasy NT with Craig.
God, it's so terrible.
I, of course, beat him. And now I'll never play against him again. It'll be just I won. Just like Injustice 2. I luckily won one round, and I just refused to play.
You can go fuck yourself.
Undefeated right here. Undefeated, even by Craig.
I would have destroyed you had your NPCs not like fucked over. I think it was Yuna.
Yeah. So I played that. That game's a clusterfuck, but if you want to join me in that, you can. I played a tiny, tiny bit of Chocobo's dungeon, trying to get through that 500 floor dungeon. I died and turned it off because I don't want to.
What floor did you die on?
150 something.
Yeah,
I died being stupid. I knew better.
Only 350 away.
I know. Yeah. Well, goddamn, that's way too much, dude. That is way too much.
Yeah, it is. Just like the 500 bounties in that Diablo 3.
Yeah, it's too much to ask. But I played a touch of that, and then the rest of it has been dominated by Conan Exiles, dude. Like, I don't know what it is about this game, but, like, all I want to do is play this fucking game. I don't want to do anything else. For, like, a week, it was Plants vs. Zombies, and now it's, like, fucking Conan Exiles. All I want to do is explore this huge map, and, like, I'm having a lot more fun with it now that I've decided that... Because we built our little noob base, and we made it pretty awesome. We have, like, a ton of stuff going on. We have, like, 4 or 5 thralls doing our bidding throughout the day. We have a blacksmith thrall who's making us stuff, or helping us when we craft things. We have a furnace thrall, we have a cook thrall, and we have a carpenter thrall in that first base. And now in the second base, I was like, you know what? I want to set out. I want to explore this world. It's a huge fucking world. Like the map, I was like, oh, it looks pretty big. And then I noticed I could go up with the right stick, and I went and saw the rest of the map, and I was like, oh, no, this map is fucking huge. It's insane. So I said, you know what?
Yeah,
Manifest
it's
Destiny.
so large, it's like in quadrants.
Yeah. I Manifest Destiny my way out to the east. And,
well, I can't wait to drop on the ground with you guys.
Yeah, dude. I'm so excited for you to join us in that. Like, I can't even put it into words, even though I just did. I just can't. And I made a new base, and of course I got all the essentials: a 3/4 built house and a Wheel of Pain. Which honestly, it's not really a home until you have the Wheel of Pain.
It's the Wheel of Pain. Come on, take a spin.
And then I saw a group of fucking dudes, exiles out there, and so I kind of scouted them out. Built my Wheel of Pain, made some gruel, and then I went.
What does a Wheel of Pain do?
You break people on it, and they become your thralls. You put them on the Wheel of Pain, and you feed them gruel, and like after a while, they're like fucking broken. And so I found this chick that was a blacksmith, and I beat her down. It's like you basically have the fuck stick, which is your sword, and then you have the beat stick, which is basically just like a fucking piece of wood with like rubber bands around the end of it is what it looks like. And you just beat the shit out of them, and you knock them out, and then you tie a rope to their feet, and then you drag their asses back to your fucking your Wheel of Pain, and you stick them in there, and you feed them gruel until they break. It's fucking awesome, dude. Our
It's fucking awesome.
our noob camp has 3 Wheels of Pain at all times, just fucking going. So like
We're constantly breaking people in. Don't worry about it.
We got a
Wow.
constant supply of slaves going on in here. It's so fun. I'm pretty sure that chick is probably broken by now. But the blacksmiths, they take a while. They're a slow people to break. But everyone breaks on the Wheel of Pain eventually. So even Conan himself.
If you had a whole bunch of other people on the server, could someone technically beat you over the head, and then take you to a Wheel of Pain and break your character?
I don't know. I would be fucked up if that could happen, and then I just am a slave. But like, it's fine if it's
But then
other
you have
people.
to create a new character because the other character's now broken.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, dude, that would be insane if you could do that. We don't have PvP on right now though.
We should. We totally fuck it. PvP on, building destruction on, everything. Like I told you, I want Caleb in the corner somewhere, really working on his fucking masterpiece, and then just go grief him and destroy it, and just hear his cries of outrage.
Fuck you.
We probably-
I deal with that enough in other games.
We probably could too. I'm getting kind of good at its clunky ass combat. I could probably take Craig out.
It basically
Craig's
is
also
like
level 1.
third-person Skyrim. That's all it is.
You can make it first person.
Can you?
Yeah, a lot of people do. I don't because I don't like first person that much in games like this. It seems.
Yeah, I'd want to watch
know.
my black guy just murder a bunch of people. So
Yeah, and Craig and I have a history of being douchebags in this game. Like my buddy
Yeah, it's
Kent
part
built
of
his
the-
house, and then Craig fucking builds this bed, and he just lays in Kent's house, and like his guy's like 10 feet tall, so there's no room to go over there. And then I also stuck a bunch of taxidermied heads on the wall above Craig, so like to get to a certain thing, you have to like crouch and walk past Craig and underneath these fucking taxidermies. And then I put a sign out in front
Can
of
you
his
walk
house.
back in as that character?
Yeah. Oh no, that's on Kent's server. We could.
yeah, we could, but
That's why we got a server, is because like it's so fucking bizarro. It's this weird. It creates like an instance. So let's say Kent
No,
joins.
yeah, instances. Yeah.
He has his game, and when I join his game, I have my level 23 character. But in my game on our server, it's different. And then when I tried to log in and just play the game,
Is there
without
like
him?
a story or a thing to progress in this game? So if we're just playing with ourselves, is there something that we could be doing?
I mean, there's
both
like lower things you can find, and then there's like bosses that you can go kill.
yeah, there are bosses, but you basically have to just craft and build your character.
Because it
up
sounds
to
like
fight
the
them.
PvP is the main part of why you'd want to play the game.
I mean, it's basically like Rust, where it's just,
Yeah.
you just do whatever.
You build up, create weapons and resources to go fucking use it on people.
Yeah. But our server, it's just PvE right now. We can make it turn PvP on. Or it doesn't even have to really be PvP. We could just turn on team damage or damage to other people. There's a few things I'm going to turn on to make it harder that the base game has that our server just automatically didn't have for some reason.
So when I hop in, and I'm just going to be like instant fucked because I have no idea what's going on.
Pretty much, yeah. I hope
Okay.
so.
We
But
can help you out, though.
it's
No, I don't need help. I will make it on my own.
It's fun, and I'm
Alright.
trying to not look stuff up anymore. Like, Kent and I were looking up some stuff on how to make certain things, and I kind of wanted it all to be,
Pure, just find out about
yeah,
it.
to just, like, figure things out by myself, and, like, figure it out as a group, and use that as the way to survive. Like, as a team, we figure out how to craft X and X, to make Y, kind of a thing. And I like it. And I haven't been able to take out any of the bosses, but I've done some pretty crazy boss kiting. Like there's that huge crocodile, Greg,
Yeah,
like the massive crocodile.
yeah.
So I found a cave, and I found some cool shit in that cave, but I died because there's like a ton of dudes. But what I did the next time, I ran up to the giant crocodile and I kited him into the cave.
And you just fucking wrecked
Yeah,
everyone.
the crocodile killed every single person in that cave.
That's awesome.
Schnappy.
And so I was able to just loot. And of course I had the giant crocodile chasing my ass the whole time, but I was able to loot this whole area and explore it fully with a bodyguard, Very volatile bodyguard. So guys, if you want to join us in that, I highly suggest you do. It's a pretty fun game. It's a free game this month. It's not the best game, but it is fun to play with other people.
Yeah.
So it's Conan Exiles. You can go select the play online option when you have it installed, and then search for the Nude server, and it'll be titled Nude Clan Exiles, and then you can use password Nudies. It's NUDIES with a capital N. You can
Yeah.
join the server.
I love how, like, right above our server, there's another one that says, please send nudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just another one with the nude inside the brackets. That's not us either.
Yeah. So join us, have fun, and I will tweet out the quadrants for our noob base. So if you guys join, you can kind of play around with the noob base. But the more expert,
The noob base is in the top corner of F3.
is it F3?
I think so. I think it was F3.
Okay, it's somewhere
It's
around
on the
there.
edge of one of those islands on that river.
Yeah, I went all the way up to. I think I'm in like. Well, is it? What, are the letters on the bottom or the top? They're on the bottom, aren't they? I think I'm over
The
in like.
letters are on the side, I think.
I think I'm in like the O's.
Oh,
If it's left
okay.
and right, like I went all the way to the east.
Nice.
And it's a pretty sweet spot out there that I'm currently breaking a slave at. But yeah, guys, so please join us for that. It's been fun, and I highly suggest it since it was a free game. What's there to lose, you know? But we all know what everyone's been playing this week. The real question is, has anyone beaten a game?
Yeah, I beat that Samurai Showdown 5 special.
All right, is that it?
Yeah.
Cameron.
Yes, I beat the Surge.
Oh, nice. You recommend?
I do, especially when it's free. So
All right. See, I beat Dissidia Final Fantasy Dudekheim, so I'll tag that. Dissidia 12. And I wasn't sure, because I didn't actually count it yet.
Did you not hog it?
No, I hogged that, but I didn't hog Until Dawn. I'm not sure how what we feel about that.
Dude, you didn't beat that.
Because it's a game where you have...
Yeah, but you were playing it with someone else, and you were both doing the stuff. So it's like...
It's like a Telltale game almost, Cameron, where you kind of like...
It's like Heavy Rain, where you play around a little bit, but then you still have to like make choices and do whatever.
Yeah, most of the game is making the choices.
But he
Okay.
and his friend were taking turns making the choices and moving around and doing shit. So
yeah, that's a little weird, little unconventional way to go about beating a game.
Yeah. So you wouldn't count it?
I don't know, but it's a Telltale game.
Would you count watching someone play a
Who
Telltale game?
was it beaten on
No.
your PlayStation or?
No, it was on his.
Then
I
no,
did
you
do
if you're
the...
gonna count a Telltale game, you might as well be the one that actually did it.
I would have probably said yes if it was on yours, but if it's not, then no.
So the determination is it's based on whose PlayStation it was on?
Especially if you're playing a game with someone else.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. All right, fine.
Any
we'll
other
count
game,
it.
if you were to play with someone, I probably would say you didn't beat it. But since it's just a fucking Telltale game, playing it with someone side by side, it's a Telltale game. You beat it.
Maybe we should put it up for vote. Because I played half of the game in one night, and we both kind of made the decisions on, like, because you have, like, split-second decisions, like what to do, what to say.
Yeah, just think if you're playing a game with, a significant other or something like that, you're playing it together and you're making choices together, you're still going to count it as beat.
Yeah, I mean, there is stuff to do, like there's quick time events and things like that with gameplay.
And since the quick time events are the only gameplay you have, I don't think you lost anything out of that.
No, especially because I played the second half by myself. Well, not by myself, but I was controlling it. So, I don't know. We should ask what you guys think. So let us know on Twitter. It's at Nude Clan Podcast. It's not going to necessarily be anything official. I would just like to get some more ideas, because there are these weird little offshoots to the hog that we don't really have answers to. So I want to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, Minecraft is a good one too, to know where to count it.
Yeah, because, I mean, does Minecraft have the bosses that Conan Exiles does? Because we've decided that we
I
just
think
want
it
to...
does, unless you're playing on like a huge server that has multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just basically a survival game.
Yeah, for me, all I want to do in Conan Exiles is just discover the map and fight the bosses that have trophies. And that's when I'm going to consider it beaten, is when we beat all the trophy bosses. But I don't know how that works for Minecraft. Like, I don't know where a good stopping point is.
I don't really think there is a stopping point. You just keep going.
Yeah, and maybe they're just not conducive to the hog, but, like, is that really fair? I don't know.
They're all reviewable at some point. Then we got to make the review point the beaten point for those games.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we could, when we feel like we're ready to review it, we could say, oh, this is when it's beaten, and, like, just figure out why we decided we were ready to review it, kind of quantify that and use it as the beaten. So, cool. Craig, do we have any questions this week?
We do have one. It's from Undisclosed. It says, what do you think is the most tasty Pokemon? Like, if you were to eat a Pokemon, which one would be the tastiest?
I heard that Magikarp is supposed to be pretty bad. He's a carp after all.
He's unedible. Like,
so there goes my
physically,
dreams
he's so tough physically that you can't eat him.
So there goes my dreams of having Magikarp sushi.
Yeah, they tried eating him in one of the episodes of Pokemon, and Meowth broke
Is that kinda dark?
broke his teeth on him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who they eat or how they eat the Pokemons. But I imagine they do, since there's like Miltank.
Slowpoke,
they drink Miltank milk.
Slowpoke looks like he'd roast up.
They
quite
also
nicely.
in Gold and Silver they also do cut off the tails of Slowpokes and eat those. But the Slowpokes regrow their tails, so it's like a never-ending thing.
Just
It was like
time
one of
for
the
harvest.
It was the fucking it was the Team Rocket plot, man. They were cutting off them tails.
You pulled back the veil on
speaking
the food
of-
industry.
Hell yeah,
Speaking
dude.
of Pokemon Go, I went to a Pokemon Go event in Provo here just last week after our
I
last
don't think
episode.
anyone brought up Pokemon Go, but okay.
Speaking of Pokemon, so I went to that, and it surprises me how many people still turn out for these events. Like Center Street was packed
Yeah,
last
it's still
Saturday,
a
dude,
huge game,
and it's still
Not
surprising,
quite
like
as
the
big,
the
but-
diversity of people who play the game too.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are a lot of different people.
So it was what was the Pokemon? It's a dragon flying type and evolves all the way. It's like Gobon. What's his name? Bogon.
Oh, Bagon?
Bagon,
So
yeah,
it's
Bagel.
Salamence?
Bagel. Yep. So I have a Salamence now. I also have a shiny Bagel.
Nice.
Yeah, and so it turned out for that. A lot of people turned out. But what I want to do is next time we all get out and go out together, I want to be wearing a full-on Team Rocket regalia.
And go to
Gonna-
one of those.
Yeah.
You
And pretty soon
you
we'll all
basically
make
be the boss of Team Rocket.
the Utah chapter of Giovanni. Be the Utah chapter of Team Rocket.
Yeah, and we just go around and break people's phones. That's how
And
we
then
stop
if
'em.
Team Flare or something shows up too, we get into a fight.
Yeah, the other teams.
Mhm.
The other teams are bitches, but so is Team Rocket.
Yeah. But yeah.
But you know
That's what I
what?
want- that's what
None
I
of
wanna
the
do.
other leaders of the other groups are as strong as Giovanni.
Yeah.
He was literally the best one.
And which is sad because he was a bitch himself.
Yeah.
Is he, or are you just such a master that they just
I'm
fall
the
before
Pokemon
you?
No, he
master.
has like the most Pokemon. Like the other guys have like 2, maybe 3.
That surprises me. Why don't they just go catch Pokemon?
I don't know. I don't know why they all just decide that they only need like.
I mean, thank God, because having to shoot down 6 Pokemon every random battle I get into would be a pain in the ass, but
yeah. But
It's not hard.
some guys got to be bosses, and their Pokemon are shit.
Yeah, some guys just aren't bosses, though.
You can just one shot everything they have.
But that was fun. Hopefully soon I'll have my Team Rocket gear that I can go out and catch Pokemons with.
Nice. I think Ditto would be tasty, because, I mean, Ditto, I imagine, is like,
Ditto.
he's tofu, right? So you can kind of cook him up with anything
No.
else, and it sort of lends itself to...
Ditto is not tofu.
Isn't Ditto the, like, gel guy?
Yeah, turns into other Pokemon.
Exactly, that's what tofu does. It takes on the flavor.
You fry him up like an egg, though.
Yeah, fry him up with an
But
egg.
I imagine he would have a very unusual
The
taste.
most tasty Pokemon would clearly be Vanillix.
For some,
Can we just
perhaps.
stick to Gen 1 Pokemon, please?
No. The Vanillux is the fucking two-headed ice cream cone. That's clearly the one that would win.
Well, we
What about
know.
Executor?
It's most tasty. What?
Executor?
Maybe. I mean, there's also Execute, which is just like a bunch of eggs.
Yeah, you crack those eggs, fry them up. That's pretty good, right?
No, I don't. Bar an actual fucking ice cream cone.
Tropius has like some fruit growing from his chin. So you could count him, I guess.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Then there's Taros. You just get a side of beef off of Taros.
Yeah,
well, no,
big steak.
Taros
Man.
is a bowl. You'd have to like the Rocky Mountain oysters from him, but the Miltank would be the cow that you'd eat.
I mean, you can make a stew out of Squirtle, probably.
Yeah.
Like a turtle stew.
I mean, yeah.
Pikachu probably tastes just like chicken.
I doubt that. I doubt that a lot. He's a mouse. Tastes like whatever mice would taste like.
Is he a mouse?
Yeah.
Or is he a vole?
He's a mouse. His description is literally an electric mouse.
Oh, okay. He's a pretty big mouse.
Yeah, he is.
Like a really
You can make some pretty
large.
cool calamari out of Tentacool.
He's poisonous, though.
Okay, then yeah, stay away.
Yeah, there's Quillfish.
Clefairy, you could
which
probably
is,
cook up like a pig.
Clefairy.
Yeah.
there is pigs. There's Spoink and Grumpig.
Oh, if you like shellfish, then there's always Shelder.
Oh yeah, Shelter and Cloyster.
Oh, dude, some fucking crabby legs and butter.
Yeah, dude,
Oh,
Krabby,
yeah.
Kingler, Crawdont, and Crabrawler, and all those guys. Clowitzer. Yeah,
Dude, crab and shrimp are so fucking good.
there's Remoraid, which is like a fish.
Do you like shrimp, Caleb, or crab?
No,
Dude,
crab is okay.
crab legs.
If it's like actual
Dude,
crab.
I love shrimp. Love shrimp and crab.
You don't like
lobster.
shrimp though,
I actually like
can't eat
seafood,
shrimp.
So
dude. Shrimp is amazing. Shrimp, crab, and lobster are fucking. Oh, anything that crawls on the floor is amazing. Let's look over at the cat.
all the other Pokemon, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Yeah,
But the tastiest of them all, I think we should stick to Gen 1 Pokemon, so you can't fucking cheat
It's
and,
the Vanillux, man.
and pick a fucking
It
ice
has-
cream Pokemon.
It has 3 evolutions. You could each pick one of the ice cream cones.
are you becoming becoming vanilla now? You're just like, oh, this-
It's literally a fucking ice cream cone. What more do you want from me?
What a fucking idea.
I'm not gonna pick Garbodor, the Pokemon that's literally a bag of garbage.
Grimer's just a pile of fucking slime and
Yeah, it's
sewage.
toxic waste. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess the ice cream cone one. That's bullshit though. The Pokemon are so stupid after Gen 1, and even Gen 1. It's like really the
I was gonna say,
Pokeball.
Even Gen 1, you're getting real close to
there
stupid
are some
stuff.
lazy designs, but it's not like limited to
Voltorb?
everything past Gen 1. Yeah, Gen 1 had some lazy ones, just like Magnemite and Magneton. Magneton is literally just 3 Magnemites. Same with Dugtrio is literally just 3 Diglets. And Diglett's design by itself is really lazy.
I wish there should be Doug Duo. Man, I think
Doug
it's
Duo?
bullshit that there's not. Yeah.
Well,
One of three.
there is a Pokemon that's called Doduo, but it's like a
bird, yeah. Those are fine. Those are fine. I don't mind the lazy drawings. What I do mind is when they make an ice cream cone a Pokemon, or like when they make a Pokeball a Pokemon. It's like, can't it just be a fucking Pokeball? Like, I don't understand why that's a design. It just seems lazy and shitty. And after Gen 1, it just gets infinitely worse.
That's not true. The other gens have some pretty good designs.
Well, yeah, they do, but most of Gen 1 is pretty good, and then a little bit of each gen after that is okay. They ran out of
well-
ideas within the first, 100.
No, there are some really lazy ones like the ice cream cone and the lay that they just did with Sun and Moon, and the fucking Clef Key, which is just like keys on a ring, which is fucking stupid. There are some stupid designs.
Yeah,
but
it's like the
You're not helping the argument at all with all the stupid designs.
It's almost like
No, I'm like pointing them out, but there are some really good ones. Like Garchomp from Gen 4 is really cool, and so is Torterra.
I think now it's more like anything that could be a turnkey.
Abomasnow is cool, but his typing is horrible.
Anything that could be a turnkey thing in fucking Harry Potter is now becoming a Pokemon. So like the boot that they use as like a teleporter thing is going to be Bootmon, or just Work Boot.
They haven't made a shoe yet.
Now when they hear this episode, they will.
Why have we ever thought about shoes?
Yeah, and then they'll have like
Yeah,
You could fucking wear your Pokemon.
Just wait till Sword and Shield, see if they review a shoe Pokemon.
yeah, they could.
Yeah, even new Pokemon that
Sorry,
we made
guys.
come up. Like even for Pokemon Go, there's the Pokemon Meltan, which is it's just a fucking nut, like an actual nut that you put a bolt through. That's a Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's ridiculous.
Pretty soon they're going to come out with the fucking Hammermon.
I mean, there's a Pokemon that's literally just a sword, and then two swords, and then a sword with a shield.
Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, it is a pretty sweet Pokemon though. Aegislash is fucking sweet.
It just sounds dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's great though. It's a great Pokemon. It's fuck off.
but it sounds dumb, Craig.
I mean, yeah, sure, but it's a great Pokemon.
It just sounds like shit.
It's a Ghost Steel type. It's fucking sweet.
All right, so that's it for the question, I think.
Yeah.
Let's loosely talk about something that we want to talk about here with the fucking
Gaming trends.
gaming trends, yeah. So trends that have been happening in gaming for a while. So I mean, like when you look at the movie industry, they had the big epics that were really large for a long time, for many, many years. Then Spielberg came out with Jaws, and then it became the Hollywood thing. We had the Western that was a big thing. We have the superhero movies that are an endless brigade of mediocrity that we're just bombarded with year after year for the last, 18 years, which is ridiculous, but whatever. So our discussion today is going to be the gaming trends. So, I mean, we had...
When did Spider-Man come out?
I think it was 01, wasn't it?
Was it 01? Was it 2002?
It might have been 2002.
No, wait. Spider-Man, I think... Was that 2005?
No, that's way too late.
When did that come out? When was it? Tell me.
It's way too late, Craig.
Tell me, when was it?
Craig, it's way too late.
Tell me.
Craig, it's way, way too late.
When was it? I know you're looking at it. What is it?
I'm not.
Well, fuck, now I have to look it up because you're being a bitch about it.
I'm not looking at it, Craig.
Yeah, you are. You're fucking looking at it.
I know, no, I'm looking at Spider-Man 2. The only thing that comes up is El Hombre Arana.
It was 2002.
Yeah, so... Why is the fucking English... What? So it's got Spider-Man, but it's weird looking and it's in Spanish, and then it gives me The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Far From Home. Look at this. It's like the Spanish cover, randomly. I don't understand when I tried to Google it.
I don't know. Maybe Spider-Man's really big in Mexico or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, some of the big trends that we've seen in our experience with gaming. One of the big ones that engulfed Caleb and I here for a while and is engulfing me again is the post-apocalyptic survival crafting game.
Yeah, the one that came from Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft kind of revolutionized that whole...
Minecraft did a lot of things. It sparked a lot more indie games because of how big it got, and then it sparked a lot of interest in the crafting survival type game.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, we played Rust for a good chunk of time. I played Conan Exiles probably almost as much as I played Rust back in the day already.
Already?
Yeah, and
Jeebus,
it's just...
dude, we played so much fucking Rust.
Yeah, I know.
I wish Rust was actually a game.
I know. Conan is a game. Like, that's the nice thing about Conan, and you can tell there are some things about it that, like, okay, this is what it is. Like, it's done, and it's more refined in some ways, but way less refined overall, which is sad considering Rust has been in beta for its entire life.
Yeah, I think that's
It's been an alpha.
more or
its
less just the
entire
trend
life.
of games being released in early alpha, and the games making money in early alpha, and then
Yeah,
development
the early
starting to slow down.
access. Yeah, if they can make money, it's off of the early access
Some-
thing.
you know,
they don't
the
really
whole
need to
idea
follow
behind-
through.
I think this is something we also need to look into just to find more data on it. Is releasing a game in early alpha and having people buy it and play it, does that really, in the long run, help you develop the game the rest of the way and finish it?
I don't know.
Or is that a deterrent? Does
There
it
was
actually
a-
prevent
That was a
you from
big
selling it?
thing a while back, but I don't think there's been really any games that have come out from it, from the early access. I think there's been a few, but I remember there's one game about dinosaurs or something that
Ark?
had to get pulled.
Ark Survival?
No, I don't think
Oh.
it was Ark. It was something else. It had to get pulled from Steam because like they stopped updating it for forever, and they were just basically getting people's money from the like beta they put out.
Well, and see, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't necessarily dislike that as a game model. I don't necessarily dislike the
It's-
Rusts of the world, because it's like, oh, this is a beta game. But instead of saying it's in beta, say, hey, this is a game that we're continuously working on,
Well,
which
yeah,
is what beta
I mean,
means.
They kept working on Rust, and at one point they had to rebuild the entirety of Rust because they wanted to do some changes to it, but they couldn't do that in the system they had it built on.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't dislike that idea as a
But
game.
Rust still hasn't come out, and we
Oh.
started playing it in 2013,
And it's
so it's had 6 years
and it's
to actually become a
different.
game.
It's different now. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that are different in Rust. But I don't necessarily dislike that. I like a game that's able to evolve over time. Like, and it works with this type of game. Games that it doesn't work with are the Final Fantasy 15s, where they keep updating and patching it to a fucking oblivion and changing the story and changing
Well,
this and that and the other. But like with Rust,
that had problems from its development with the idea that they had to come out at a certain time because of all the promises they made to several different people and companies, which is why they were only able to push it back as far as they were.
yeah.
So there was problems there because they could have used like at least another year.
I kind of like this as a game model, though. I mean, if you come out and you just say, hey, this is a post-apocalyptic survival game where you have to craft and you explore the world and you have bosses you can fight and you work together, or you kill the enemies and take all their shit. Like, this is the game, but just so you know, we're going to be working on it and changing it over time. We're going to constantly be moving stuff around, adding new things,
The only
adding
problem
new areas.
is that their servers got wiped like every 5 days or some shit.
Is that
Yeah.
really what happens in Rust?
Yeah.
The servers
Don't
got
ever
wiped, so
let
you have
build
nothing.
and keep building.
No, they wipe their servers all the time for several updates. They wouldn't let you keep anything,
That's kind of lame.
Yeah, that's another
which
reason
is
I
which
like
is
it.
why it burns you out. I mean, it's fun for a little while, but when you have to restart like every fucking week, it becomes kind of a problem.
Yeah, and that's why we stopped playing. But I like that as this type of game. I think that's where this model works, where it's a model of, okay, I gave you $30 for this game, and I know it's not complete, but I know you're going to be working on it, and you're going to keep working on it and keep adding things. So, like, they can add a whole new area and say, like, there's an area boss up here. And it works in these worlds because most of the world of Conan, it's all lore. It's all the lore of the world, and you
Yeah,
just
it
play
has
the game.
some vague sense of story that you can go look at.
It's
Which
very vague.
a lot of those other games don't really have that. Like Minecraft, I don't think has that. At least I haven't seen any. And Rust definitely didn't. Rust was purely for the gameplay and was more like a survival battle royale type feel than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, and Conan is that way too, but I think it's more teamwork based. Like, you survive by being a good group.
Yeah, because you have to take on these huge bosses together instead of just like trying to solo it.
Yeah, and I kind of like the idea of having a game that they update over time for this, because in this type of game, I think it works. I mean, you don't really have a story. One, you don't have a story that you can go back and alter and mold to fit what you actually wanted it to be before you rushed it to market. Two, you have a game where it's almost purely gameplay, so just adding more things to do in it is going to be nothing but a benefit. And three, I mean, if you just accept the fact that it's not done and you're going to keep adding to it, that almost gives it its own kind of allure to me, to where it's something that I like the idea of, because I know it's going to be changing and I'll have something to come back to over time because it's going to be different. That being said, though, I gave up Rust, and I don't know if I'm ever going to go back. And
unless it became an actual game, there's no reason to go back.
And you know what I'm saying about Conan? Like, it's not a great game, but
No.
it's complete.
Yeah, it's more complete than Rust.
Yeah,
So
even though Rust is better
it is.
overall, for sure.
Mhm.
But there's more in Conan. There's more to do in Conan. So, like, it feels like they were done.
Yeah,
when
Rust
they
was purely
released
like
it.
everyone else was. You were creating content with everyone else because you had to play with other people,
Yeah, I missed that.
and so you
Rust
had
Trainer
to
few
you had
guys.
to try and fight each other as well as trying to gather like all your equipment and weapons from exploring the world, as well as trying to survive because it had you had to eat food and build shelter for yourselves. And like people could come and attack your bases and whatever. So I mean, you had to create the content yourself. Whereas Conan has like bosses and levels and things that were used. So it's like half MMO, half crafting survival game.
Yeah. I think they hit a good stride with Conan, even though I do think it's not a great game.
It could be smoother.
Um,
There's a lot of clunk in that game.
Yeah. But I'm having fun with it, and I liked that era of games. But it's so crazy because like there were just so many games that were that thing that started coming out around like 2011. It seemed like right around when Minecraft was on top of the world. Everyone wanted to be Minecraft, and they wanted to put their own spin on Minecraft, and that's a stage of gaming that I still kind of like. I mean, obviously, I'm getting back into Conan Exiles, so I'm having fun with that. I kind of enjoy the post-apocalyptic survival crafting game, and Conan has a lot of variety, a lot of things to learn how to do, an interesting setup for the levels. So we kind of, at least with Kent and I, we've kind of like traded back and forth, like, oh, I'm going to go after this tree of upgrades, you should go after this, so that we can kind of work together to get everything we need.
Right.
And it's fun that way. But in Rust, you don't have that. You just find the blueprints and you learn how to do it, and everyone can do everything. So there's almost no cohesive team set up in Rust especially when compared to...
Yeah, that's why it's more of a battle royale type thing, because you have to go find equipment to survive with, and then...
I guess in a sense you can kind of think of it that way. It's still, I don't know. It's interesting.
It's a world where you have to live in and like live with other people, and they want your shit because they want to be the guys who are dominant. Because every time that you'd go out there, you'd find like other dudes that would immediately shoot you to loot your shit or to be a douche. Like they'll find new players that are just like in there, just sleeping on the ground or whatever, and then they build a house around them so they can't fucking leave. So they'd have to commit suicide or whatever to fucking escape.
Yeah, well, they'd either have to respawn or starve to death.
Yeah.
That was fun, and then just bashing them over the head when you find them sleeping was fun too.
Yeah.
It's not as sadistic as boxing them in, though. But I bet you a lot of people quit playing the game because of shit like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And Rust is pretty toxic. I'm sure Conan is toxic too, but we've only played custom matches.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that, just as a let's go through and beat the bosses. And I think if we can get enough people on to join us, I think then we could start creating factions and clans and war against each other.
Well, our maximum amount of people that we can have on the server at once is like 24.
It's
We
25.
Is it 25?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Does your
can
roommate
increase
have
that.
it, Cameron?
He downloaded it, yeah.
Is he going to join us?
I haven't asked him about it, but he probably would.
You should have him join us tonight. We should play some
He's no longer
Rust.
my roommate either, so...
There you go. Even more of a reason to play with them. Hang out. Hang out with the old roomies.
Yeah.
But I liked that phase of gaming. It was pretty good. I mean, we had another huge phase that started with Guitar Hero That was the
music games.
the rhythm games that went on, and those were a huge phenomenon. I mean, you guys remember Guitar Hero when it came out? It was massive. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
I got into the game a little later. I think I played Guitar Hero 2 first, and then Guitar Hero 3 when it was in its prime.
Yeah, I think I only played Guitar Hero 3. Really,
Rock Band by
I
far
never
was my
played.
favorite.
Yeah, I never played the Rock Bands.
But that was always when I was playing at someone else's place because I never had one of my own.
Yeah, Rock Band just is crisper and like more metallic looking,
Yeah.
so it's better. I think Rocksmith is the ultimate fucking rhythm game, though. 'Cause you actually have to
I think
play
it
the
was
guitar.
late compared to rhythm gaming, wasn't it? Though.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
it
it was
came
like
out
2011.
somewhat
I think they were
recent.
trying to capitalize on the popularity of rhythm games and like, hey, you know, it's fun to pretend to play the guitar, but now here, how about actually try to fucking learn how to
Wasn't
play?
the first Rocksmith 2014?
No, that's the second
That's the
one.
second one.
This is the second one.
So the
I think-
first one actually came out probably right in the middle of the craze,
Yeah, and I think Rocksmith
but I
is
heard it
the
wasn't as well
craze-
executed.
No,
Yeah.
Craze started earlier than that. I think it was like around 2007 when that started.
Yeah, and for me, I think the best one is Guitar Hero Metallica. I mean, I think there's no
That
fucking
one
contest.
phased out really fast though, because there was basically only one company making those games, and they just made the same game every time, and they pumped them out like almost 2 a year.
Yeah, it was Harmonix.
Yeah, Harmonix.
And I don't know. There's like I have a Final Fantasy game coming up that's called Theater Rhythm, where you have to hit the buttons to the Final Fantasy music.
To battle the creatures and bosses.
Yeah, and you fight them with the
It's pretty
power of
sweet.
music. Like that's a cool more.
There are
recent...
some cool twists on the rhythm game style.
Yeah, and like I even played Rock Band on the PSP. Like I didn't have a little guitar thing to play it, and at first I was like, this is gonna be so pointless. But then I played it and I was like, oh, it's kind of fun. It's just like a timing game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little timing game. I still believe that like there's no reason to play Guitar Hero with a controller. That's just dumb. But I played Rock Band Unplugged on the PSP with my controller, so I don't know.
There was that game. I never actually played it, but there was a game called, I think it was Amplitude, which was a game that you could like listen to your own music, and it would like change the way that whatever.
So it
however
wasn't a
plays.
true version of that playing your favorite song, but to Rock Band, because it would just change how fast the notes are coming at you, but it wouldn't be like truly designed for that song. As if that's what you're saying, because
I think it was something like that, where it would use like whatever songs you wanted to import,
Because normally the
or its
game-
own soundtrack.
normally a game would have to go through a lot of fucking trouble to get new songs added, which is why Rock Band came out with like new like whole new game dedicated to one artist, and that's how they could get deals with those artists to put their songs on the video game. And that's why newer rhythm games like
that
Beat
always felt
Saber.
limiting, though.
Beat Saber is when you play it on the console, they have a huge problem with trying to add new music because of they have to go through PlayStation and all the their stuff in order to get new songs out of the game, and then having to make deals that are profitable to have these popular songs on their game. Whereas if you get Beat Saber on the PC, you can download a mod that'll let you play any fucking song you want to play.
Well, of course, there's always mods for everything.
Yeah, so that's the one thing with songs on these rhythm games. You have to remember the artist is getting paid for their song being on that game,
Yeah.
and there's the contract.
There's always
with all
those
the
song
legality
DLCs coming
stuff.
out for that Rocksmith, though.
Dude, I have spent some change on Rocksmith. Like I bought the Slayer pack, I bought the Megadeth packs.
Have you actually done anything with it?
I played them. I bought the Godsmack pack. I rocked that I Stand Alone song.
Did you
It's really
did
fucking
you actually
easy.
learn how to play the game? Did you actually learn how to play the guitar?
No, not really. But I just didn't put enough time into it consistently to learn, really. But that was a fun phase, and I kind of like. I don't know. Like I look at some of them, and like Rock Band and Guitar Hero got a little ridiculous, but there are those gems like the theater rhythms, like the. I haven't played it yet, but the idea of it is really kind of a cool idea. You
Yeah.
have to get these button combos to deal damage to these enemies, and that's how you do combat. It's kind of a fun little spin on the RPG that's based entirely on your timing and your ability to play this thing. And then the Rocksmiths, I think, are great. The ones that are like, hey, we know there are these fake guitar games out there, but you can play this one and you're actually playing the guitar and you're playing notes on the guitar. And I think that's a great way to stimulate your creative side and your artistic side, along with your autistic side, and your need to play video games. You need to be in front of a television screen. I have fond memories of that. I played a lot of Guitar Hero back in the day, and Rock Band I played less of, but that's just because I was kind of getting out of those kinds of games. And that's a phase of game that's almost obsolete now. I mean, I know Cameron mentioned earlier before the show, Beat Saber is a thing.
Yeah, those rhythm games are really far and few between now.
So what would be like the future? So again, for that phase came and it left. It felt like it had its own designated period when it was super popular, and then it phased out, and then you hardly hear about them anymore. Some
there's
people
still
play them
stuff
every now
like
and then.
the Dance Dance Revolutions, and
Right.
Yeah, the
rhythm
Just
games.
Dance.
Just Dance. Those games still exist, and they're still somewhat popular. As
Yeah.
we learned to fucking Just Dance, still like the last game to release on fucking the Wii or whatever.
Yeah, Just Dance 20.
Do you
fucking
feel
like last year.
Like these rhythm games have a future within VR, like Beat Saber's trying to do?
Yeah.
Saber, yeah, that one's I think a good example of a decent VR game, but I don't think there's necessarily a future in it specifically. They can do a lot of things with the rhythm style games, like Beat Saber is one, fucking Theater Rhythm is another, whatever that Amplitude game is. I need to check into that. And then just there's a lot of stuff that they can do with them. So it just, I don't think there's one specific area in which that would be.
What do you feel like would make another resurgence of the rhythm game? Like, how would it make it new enough and to get people to play it all again?
I wouldn't say there's necessarily a need for a resurgence. I mean, they still have those games going on. People still play those Dance Dances and the Rocksmiths.
People are still
and
dancing.
Yeah, man. They're still
Alex's
doing-
family plays their Just Dance all the time.
I heard Just Dance was like a much harder version of Dance Dance.
You got to actually dance.
I think
The
there's
Kinect camera,
I think there's
watches you.
one that just came out, or it came out somewhat recently for the Switch or something. I think.
The Switch.
I don't remember. Those motion controls are really part of the. It did kind of help with the resurgence. I remember they had started the Kinect had a lot of those rhythm games come out. Those Just Dances.
Yeah.
There's a Star Wars one that came out for the fucking Xbox with that Kinect, which was. I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, yeah, there's no. I don't know. They burned themselves out quick with the Rocksmiths and the Rock Band and Guitar Hero. I don't know if there can be a resurgence quite like there was when it got really popular.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever be what it once was, but there'll still be gems here and there, I think, that will get dropped and people will really like. And the thing is, I don't really seek it out necessarily. I don't know, the Guitar Hero Metallica one. It's mostly because it was Metallica. That's the big reason why I played it, And I played it again recently, and I finished it recently because I just wanted to play some Metallica songs for pretensies, And I had a lot of fun with it.
Here's this question. This is actually a legitimate question that we should have probably asked ages ago. If you play an entire album from Metallica, does that count for beating the game once you beat Guitar Hero, and does it also count as the album listen?
Is the entire album in the game?
If it was, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the
'cause
entire
if it
album
was
is not in the game?
I don't know if it was. I think they had some select songs, but
That's
I don't think they
boring.
had all of the songs from every album.
So you're saying it wasn't just Metallica on this?
No,
No.
it was all Metallica, but I don't think it was all of Metallica.
There's more than Metallica on the Guitar Hero Metallica. There's
lies.
Thin Lizzy and Slayer and there's a bunch of different songs on there. The best stuff is Metallica, but yeah, I would count that, especially because the version of Death Magnetic, the songs that are on there are actually higher quality than the fucking album itself.
Is it?
Because they didn't blast the sound for those, so it sounds like it should sound. If they wouldn't have made it a wall of sound on the album, because that album is super fucking loud. It was the loudness war thing, The Guitar Hero Metallica tracks don't have that, so they're actually better quality than the fucking album that came out. So that's what the way to go is
That's
listen to
kinda
Death
fucked.
Magnetic through the fucking game.
Get the game soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly.
Just listen to that.
Yeah, that's the more pure form of that album, or those songs from the album. That was an interesting phase that went on, and I think the big one that comes to mind now, that I think we're in the height of at the very moment, is the fucking Battle Royale games. Those are the thing. We've got Fortnite, we had PUBG kick it off, as far as I can tell.
And like PUBG, I feel like, since it started out as a mod of DayZ, I feel like PUBG is a remnant of the early access / survival type games that came out during that time.
Yeah, that
One
kind of
thing
led
that
into
was
PUBG.
kind of cool
yeah.
about
And then
those early
PUBG started
access
that as
games.
a mod, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, those early access games had a lot of unique ideas, and which is why I think a lot of people bought into them. But they never really came out. Nothing really came out of them, except for there are those few things like DayZ and
So it feels
PUBG
like
that came out of it.
PUBG kind of transcended the early access area to
Escaped its
become
bonds.
the first battle royale. One, unfortunately, I have only ever played a handful of times on mobile and not on the PC platform.
How is it?
On mobile,
Yeah.
I don't like
Played
you'd
it on
expect.
Xbox One. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. I don't know. These games, for me, this is the one that I'm like most done with, I think, right now. And I think it's just because it's oversaturated.
You never really got into it.
I think that
I played a lot of Fortnite. I think I played
I
more
played-
Fortnite than you guys did.
Yeah, you never played with us because you're a
I
little
played
bitch.
some Fortnite. I've played PUBG.
Oh, my little bitch. I
Uh,
just work at a different time.
And
You
No,
little
it's whenever-
bitch, go to your
No,
little
no,
your little
no.
job for
No, no.
small people, you little bitch.
It's when we're all online and like, hey, you want to play some Fortnite or want to play some other type of game? You're just like,
I just don't know how I feel about a game that's entirely dedicated to just being a battle royale. I kind of feel like it's better as a game mode.
So, like Red Dead 2, if they come out with the Battle Royale mode, that would be something you'd be interested in.
Maybe, I don't know, but like the Battlefield 5 added that. Fucking Black Ops 4.
Yeah, there's a
And
guy at work
the-
that's been
its
trying
own
to get me to
Blackout
play
mode.
Blackout with him for like months now.
I think Black Ops 4 is like half off right now.
Yeah, Blackout's free, I believe, until the end of the month as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's those. Like, I feel like it works better as a game mode than as an actual game by itself.
Yeah, it does feel kind of
'cause-
incomplete.
Yeah, because then you just have like, well, if other games are capable of just like having that as a game mode, and then you can go play whatever else. If you get a little tired of it, then like
You're tired of that.
It feels like there's more. Than
Yeah, you're tired of that mode, but
they
you're not
kinda-
tired of that game.
Yeah, they almost kind of feel empty in that way, where like the experience is based entirely off of you just playing that one game mode over and over again. Like if you die, then you're like, oh well, we can just quickly get back into a match, and then you try again, and it's like, it gets to be a little much when you're playing that for hours on end.
Yeah, I don't know. I had fun with it with the Fortnite, but it just kind of it turns into
I think like one of the best games in the
Fortnite-
category is one that just recently came out with Apex. I feel like that by itself is
yeah,
probably
but would
one
you
of the
not
best.
feel like Apex would be better as like an Overwatch type thing, but then they also
No.
give the idea of having
I think Apex is probably
battle royale.
the best balanced / overall battle royale experience you can have at this point.
But it does have that Overwatch feeling where they
I mean,
have their own abilities.
they all have their
and
own
shit.
things they do. Okay, so I feel it's not Overwatchy in that sense. It's just something to help you vary your gameplay. It's just so when you get into a battle, you're not doing the same thing every time, and it varies each engagement with people who you face off against depending on what they're taking too. So all it does is I feel it helps break up the monotony of making it so every engagement's not the same thing every time, and which is a part of why I feel Apex
well,
is
if
probably the
you-
best battle royale game you can play right now.
If you have a character character that you like playing, and there's only like 5 characters, then every
They're gonna be
encounter
adding
is
more
going
over
to be
time.
very similar.
They're going to be adding more over time, but it's your fault for playing the same character every time. I mean, they also have a character selection screen where everyone takes turns being first to pick their character, and so if someone picks your favorite character, you have to branch out and learn something new.
So there's how many players are available at once on the map?
Like how many people are fighting at one time?
Yeah,
It's hard to remember.
because if there's only like 8 characters in the Apex, and if somebody else picks your characters, like they're only like 8-member
No.
teams, or what?
No,
How does that work?
So you have squads of 3, right? And in your squad, you're picking amongst each other. And so you're going to face off
okay.
other squads of various compositions with the same or different characters, depending on what they pick.
Okay.
But within your squad, you're limited to the choices within the squad. So you all can't be the same character in one squad.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing about Apex that I don't like, is then it
you
becomes
can't be the same character.
it just becomes Overwatch. It's no longer.
It's not Overwatch. I just got through saying that.
It's no longer.
drastically different than Overwatch.
I don't think you could say what is Overwatch
exactly.
and what isn't
Like
twice.
I've put hours
you-
into Overwatch. I know
you've
exactly
played,
what
you've
that's
played
about.
Overwatch for like 3 matches.
I feel like it's the whole idea of survival horror, the whole idea of a game or not survival horror. Jesus, the whole idea of fucking
Survival horror, Jesus.
of battle royale is it came out of the fucking beta survival games, and now you're trying to survive while just killing. And the whole thing about the beta survival games is everyone starts out as the same exact character. No one has any sort of attribute that's better or worse than any other given individual, and so that's where you begin the game, and you choose where you go from there.
Okay.
With Apex, you choose where this character already is, so there's no growth.
Let me ask this,
me.
Cam. Does Apex have that like the storm type deal where it makes the
Yeah.
map smaller?
I mean, that's the format of all battle royale games.
What I would like to see for a battle royale game is to make it somewhat more of a survival game as well. So like the map doesn't get smaller, but like take what was it fucking called? Like
There's
the
a reason
like
why
the
it
Hunger
has- the map
Games
has to be smaller.
and the battle royale movie. Like the areas are trapped. So like if you stay in an area too long, then they arm the traps. So if you start moving around, there's a chance you could just fuck yourself because you stayed in one spot.
Well,
too
I think
long.
Battle Royale, what happened is the necklace, the little sauce-style necklace thing exploded and blew your head off. If you were in the area when it activated. Because they had that strapped around their necks, remember? And they're like, oh, if you're in this quadrant, when the quadrant's locked down, it blows you up.
So the reason
So well,
why
then that
there's
would be
a-
cool if they had multiple areas and then like, all right, this one's going to be locked off for like a couple minutes, so you had to get out of there, and then they unlock it again. Well, they
Well,
lock
then
another
that
one.
would usher. So what you're thinking of, they would be able to use to usher people to get closer. So the whole reason why the area shrinks is to keep gameplay
Well,
fun.
Yeah, but it just makes it so that you have
game,
to be in
less
the
and
area,
less
and it makes it
squads.
more.
No.
It makes it more frantic, is what it does.
That too. So one thing that you have the timer that counts down, so you can kind of plan for how long you can be in an area. You should kind of know how long it takes to get from point A to point B, so you can plan, go to an area, set up, and kind of strategize for your next move. Especially if you know if there's a group up close. And so when the ring shrinks, you know it's going to shrink, and its rate stays the same. It ushers players to get closer and closer, so you don't get really long matches of not seeing anyone. That's the problem with Battle Royale. The player count's going down, and less players, less action, less reason to stick around playing the game. So if your idea of having areas that would randomly blow up, I mean, PUBG did that with its rocket strikes or its artillery strikes. Every so often, an area would just start to be shot at by artillery, and that was actually
I guess it did that.
that was actually something that people didn't like about the game. They didn't like the rocket strikes.
Well, they can go fuck themselves.
So your way of having random
Well, no, like
zones
what I want is
have
like I don't
traps.
want it to be just like a match. I want it to be the whole thing. Like you have
You-
to fucking be the champion by like hunting down other people, going like because everybody's gonna like try to hide or go find other people, and I don't want it to be like they have to wait until like the storm closes around them to be like the frantic fight. I want it to be like people are actually hunting other people the whole time.
Well,
Yeah.
there are people
That
do
would be the sweet battle royale. What
I
it
mean-
is now is like everybody just goes find loot and then waits, lets everybody kill each other until like
That's-
the circle closes and closes and closes, and then they do the
There
frantic
are
battle.
groups of people who are very aggressive and go out and find people. I prefer that playstyle because it keeps it fun for me.
Yeah.
There are people who wait in a fucking bush outside of a team fight their friends are in.
If everybody's fucking dead, of course I'm gonna hide in a fucking bush until the end.
Maybe they died because you did.
And like there was one time that I had like 8 kills in this round of Fortnite that was solo. I was wrecking people, and I saw a guy and I did combat with him, and the map was pretty small, and I knew that someone was going to come kill me because it was such a small area. Everyone was just camping, waiting for someone to make noise,
And you
then
don't
they would
like to
pick 'em up.
build, and so
Yeah, and building is stupid. I think that's
Yeah.
the dumbest part of that game.
I think you would like.
I
Apex
think
to
the
actually
dumbest
try that.
part is the different like grades of weapons.
No, I don't mind different grades of loot.
No, because if two people have like the same weapon, but then one's like clearly the better weapon, of course you're gonna get fucked.
Then you have to loot
Like
higher.
you gotta
tiered
get-
loot areas,
you
but
gotta-
there's usually more people who drop there, so it's higher risk.
Or you get
Yeah,
good
you
and
gotta
just
get
kill
loot,
them anyway.
You gotta get loot at all. That should be the thing. You gotta
No.
get any kind of weapon to survive. Instead of just getting, oh look, I was lucky and I got the fucking
because if you
bullshit
have,
golden AR and I'm just gonna wreck
so
everyone because it has
it makes
1,000
you-
more damage
it
than
makes
everyone
you change
else.
your gameplay based off of what weapons you have.
Yeah,
If
and
you
that's
have
the idea.
If you have a high-tiered sniper, you're going to stay back and just pick people off.
Yeah,
if you
that's
if
the-
you have a high-tiered assault rifle, you're going to get close and push people hard because you have a good weapon.
I think that stems from the beta survival game because
Yeah.
you use what you have to your advantage.
And then if you know you
Yeah,
have
but
just
if you have
medium-tiered
any
weapons,
fucking-
you're going to use more of your environment to your strategy where you know you can't get caught in the open because you don't have the firepower to last. And so you start to actually strategize where you use bait and switch tactics where you kite people into a trap you might have set. And all that's possible in Apex and other
Maybe if you were playing by yourself,
Battle
but when you're
Royale
doing
type
in
games.
teams, you gotta be like,
yeah,
hey,
with
what
teams you can just strategize even better. You can make it seem like
You
you're
gotta-
a solo
you gotta-
dude out in the middle of nowhere, and you get people to chase you because they think they're going to go take you down, and you have your friends waiting to put them in a crossfire, and that's how you can strategize with the team. Tactics, Craig. It's not all hiding in a bush.
You gotta give people like the weapons that they're better with, though. That's
and then
the
you can talk to your team
strategizing
and
thing.
say, "Hey, do you mind switching weapons?" And your team can do that for you. And oftentimes they're like, "Hey, who wants this weapon? Because I actually have this other weapon I prefer." And then as a team, you all homogenize and you all start helping each other out with the ammo types you need, with the guns you need, and stuff like that. And a good team looks out for each other, covers each other's blind spots, and you can help strategize. But if you don't have a good team, then all that goes to shit, and solos would be better.
I don't know. I think I'm kind of done with that game type though. For better or for worse.
Firestorm is a good blend of gameplay from the Battlefield series, but with the whole battle royale.
Is that what they call
thing.
their battle
Yeah,
royale?
that's
thing?
what they call their battle royale. It's Firestorm, and it's the gunplay is the best part about it. Actually, fighting and shooting, it feels like a battlefield game. It's menu options that they chose to go with and stuff like that makes it kind of meh. I'm not too into it, but as far as the gameplay goes, you feel like you're playing COD, and if you're, Battlefield. And if you're good at Battlefield, then you'd be good at Firestorm because gunplay does matter. But you still have to be strategic and intelligent about it, and not just go fucking rush off somewhere.
All right, I just thought of the original battle royale mode, fucking one in the chamber,
Yeah, one in the chamber.
the ultimate battle royale.
It's not quite. Because I guess knifing people is looting
You
them
only
for
get
their
like
bullet.
the one life, so you got.
You have the one life, but battle royale games are, you're in an arena that's shrinking, and you have to find it off the ground.
It's just a twist on it. You get your gun, you get one
But like I
bullet,
said,
and your knife.
I wouldn't mind if these
You got to kill people for their one bullet.
gambling game modes came back.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
And so sometimes, the depth of gameplay available in battle royale games really depends on the person playing. too, what they want to do and how in depth and how hardcore they want to be with it. If you're just wanting,
I think a lot of depth would also come from having multiple maps and not just like the one that everybody can get used to
Yeah.
and know where everything is. So if they changed everything, had like random traps, had like random shit just like everywhere all the time, it was like a randomly generated island or whatever, then it'd be perfect.
I can see that being
where
fun.
every match would definitely be
'Cause
different
the current
every time.
the current games that do have battle royale, besides PUBG right now, the map for Fortnite keeps changing too. Just what's inside of it.
Well, yeah, they do
But
like the major updates.
People
to
get
change
bored
things.
of the map after time just because it doesn't change. There's nothing new to investigate. But I don't know why it takes people forever to come out with a new map. But I don't know, that'd be fun. But it is becoming a tired thing. Everyone's doing it, and I think Apex right now is they're the best ones at doing it. And so if you like battle royale games, you should definitely try that one out. But I feel like in the next little bit, we're going to see it peter off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't imagine it lasting forever. And I mean, I think my kind of falling off of the bandwagon is going to be very symbolic for everyone else's at some point. I know Fortnite's doing a lot of changes and like adjusting
Yeah,
things
but
that
they're
they've done.
still Fortnite's still in that
They're still,
cartoony,
like, their
unrealistic
one-
area for it.
Yeah.
And I don't like. That's why I stopped playing it. Is because I got tired of like, oh, here's a rocket that you can control and go around a corner. Like they kept changing the game so drastically that I was like,
Yeah, they fucking
At
added
the end of the day-
Thanos shit.
at the end of
and-
the day, all I want is everyone to drop in, everyone to have to loot their shit, and everyone to have like crude, rudimentary weapons to kill each other with. And the game went away from that, and so I went away from the game.
Cam.
I feel like you
Battle
would like
Royale for honor.
Firestorm. I think you would like Firestorm, and I think you would also really like Battle for Honor. I think you would like
I have
Firestorm,
it.
and I think you would like Apex, because those are exactly what you're asking for.
I played a little of Apex. And
Apex
I
is more about good gunplay, and then you do have to learn how to use your character's ability because it does give you advantage, but it's not building. It's not building fucking areas you can be safe in, and everything has like a skill ceiling that you can get good at with that particular character, and it just adds just one extra dimension to what would be a normal just team deathmatch type scenario.
yeah.
I like that you can drive cars and shit in PUBG.
You
That's a
can
fun
drive
aspect.
vehicles in Firestorm. There are
Nice.
tanks. They even brought out a mini helicopter. Doesn't have any weapons. You just fly.
That's just bullshit.
No, that's actually something that was.
Can you get like a
during that time.
second person on there to like
you can
start
get
shooting
you can get
people?
a whole team of 4 on there. Yeah.
Nice.
You can find tanks, but everything in this in Firestorm is risk reward as well. Whereas tanks are loud, people know you're coming, and there are anti-tank measures that you can equip yourself with. But vehicles also take fuel, to where you will need to fuel it up in order to keep it going from point A to point B. But you can even drive tractors inside Firestorm, and you can tow things like artillery. You can tow anti-aircraft stuff. You can also tow basically cannons too at the back of a tractor or on tanks. And you can use that against other vehicles. And there's like really nice tanks too, but you actually have to open up large bomb shelter doors in order to get it out. And doing that is very loud and lets people know that's what you're doing. So risk reward, you can be sneaky, sniper, or just whatever you can find.
Oh man.
There is an armor system in the game and a health system. They added it to make it more, if you get shot, you're going to be hurt, and you have to risk, finding cover and risk taking the time to heal yourself before you can come back out, and then replace armor plating.
I just thought of a trend I wouldn't mind seeing, and gladiatorial combat. It'd be fucking sweet.
So like For Honor.
everybody, kind of, but
That's
like
kind of
everybody,
exactly For
everybody, no, like everybody gets locked into like a fucking like circled arena or whatever, and then they have to go run and get a fucking weapon, and then just start beating the shit out of other people.
I think that'd be a party game mode.
It'd be fucking sweet.
So it's a really simplified.
I mean,
more-
I think I played a Halo custom game that was almost exactly that.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
with
yeah,
grab hammers.
you could have the.
It'd be
yeah.
a more intimate approach to the battle
grab
royale.
hammers and
almost.
swords. I mean, yeah.
I don't feel that'll.
And then you have the Emperor. Like one character gets to be the Emperor,
Yeah,
and
it's
like
like
decides.
fucking. Yeah, it's.
Decides whether it's a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah.
I would like Firestorm.
Kill him.
I would like Firestorm more if they fixed the looting system. I think it just takes too long and it's confusing. Other than that, the actual gameplay mechanics are great. I only played it a handful of times, though. I've played Apex more. But I feel like if you guys got into one of the better Battle Royale games, you'd actually like it more. But it is becoming a tired thing, so it will go away soon.
Yeah. So I guess the question that stems from this, like, what do you guys think is next? Because I feel like if we look at Battle Royale, and just talking with you guys today really sold me on this idea. I do think it stemmed directly from those post-apocalyptic build, survive, kill other people kind of games.
It did. I mean, PUBG, the first real star, the first modern real star of the Battle Royale trend came directly from those first, from those post-apocalyptic early access games.
Yeah, that Arma game.
There were
or
other
whatever.
games that did something similar. Like there was one that was like in Minecraft. They had like a mod, I think, that was going around that was basically a Battle Royale type mode that they had for a while. And then, there's like Rust happened, and then the HZ or whatever, the zombie game survival mode.
DayZ.
DayZ. And then PUBG, and just stuff like that happened, and then like progressive until Fortnite just exploded because it was free.
Yeah, and that's actually starting a new trend of how video game developers and how video games make money. When you drop a free game, how do you make money off of that? Well, if your free game is good enough, you get a lot of people playing it and then spending money on ridiculous things like skins and battle passes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that free model is definitely affecting the future of gaming. So whatever you say about when Battle Royale type games will phase out, they have left their mark on video game industry, and we'll see changes directly correlated to that.
So do you think the
Yeah.
next phase is going to be free to play as well, or do you think they're going to go back to a paid model?
So this is part of
They'll probably have stuff like loot boxes and shit where they'll just they won't necessarily make the game free, but they will have like free DLC like Overwatch is doing, and a couple other things like Battlefield 5 and all those, where all their big DLC updates will be free because they have like a thing where people can continue to spend money and with like loot boxes or getting skins directly or whatever.
Yeah, and the within a game too, because this is another thing that I see happening. I don't think 100% this will be the future of gaming, but I think this very well could be an outcome of what's happening right now. Is playing video games is going to become more of a subscription thing than it will be you buying a title outright.
Yeah, the games
With
as a
these
service,
with
and
these
I
video
really
game
don't like
streaming,
that.
with video game streaming, looks like it's getting better. It all depends on whether or not they can deliver a competitive lag-free experience. But Google is getting in on that now too, where you can buy basically a subscription, and then if you have good enough internet, you can stream and play all of the latest games. Directly from Google servers or whomever
even
you
necessarily
pay
have
subscription
to,
fees to.
Stream them for the Xbox Game Pass. You can download the games.
And yeah, I mean that's
that one's
directly
pretty
from
decent.
console.
I have that one.
It's funny how many people got mad about Google doing that. Like they're just shaking with rage, and I'm like,
of corporations to do that. Who better suited than Google?
well, Google.
Answer that.
They're
question.
they bleach their assholes constantly when it comes to like fucking changing the way their search engine works to fucking lean left and stuff like that. Which is whatever. That's their company. They can do whatever they want. But honestly, yeah, I agree. Google's
but
huge.
who better to do it besides
Amazon
Google?
is the only
because-
other person, but
because
Amazon's
they
not
have
as
the
techy.
server. They have the servers to hold all the stuff. They have the infrastructure set out to stream to people's homes. They even have they even fucking lay down internet lines nowadays for Google Fiber and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah, I think Google is the one to go with.
And so of people to come out with a streaming service, I feel like Google is the best of the ones that have come out so far.
And that's
Google's
just to
the best
test it. This is a
connected one.
new. This is a new thing.
And so,
like-
if they can actually deliver something that they're promised, they can actually make playing games through subscription service
if they can
competitive.
have the
Then that will hugely impact the way games are financed,
And
because no longer are individuals buying games themselves and buying their own physical copies. They're paying a subscription service It's like a Spotify type situation, but for video games. And so now you have Google paying the game developers for games, but we're going to see a lot more of maybe games being released without an actual buy price, but then more options inside the game for you to spend money, especially if it is a subscription service, because you did not buy the game, you're playing it through someone else's service, and the game's still going to want to get money from you somehow. It needs to still get money from you.
Yeah, and the nice thing about services like this, what they do is they kill piracy. Because at this rate, it's, well, I can either rent it or let Google rent it out and get a small percentage whenever the game is actually borrowed, or I can get nothing and people are going to steal it. And ease of use will always beat out fucking stealing at the end of the day. If you look at
It depends
tobacco,
on.
let's look
it
at like
depends on if they have like a Netflix thing where like multiple people can use the account at once.
No, that's not going to be a thing.
I don't
ever.
think so.
Yeah,
Not
like
with
that.
this.
That would be the way that they would lose money.
I don't know if they would though, because is Netflix losing money on people that aren't buying their subscription?
They're not getting as much money as they could.
No, they're not, because, well, look at it. Here's the argument. So I was mad when I heard that Netflix was going to start doing that, because we use Alex's mom's.
Netflix keeps increasing their prices too, and I think it's to combat stuff like that.
Netflix is fucking. They were talking about only having one IP address per account, right? So like I couldn't use it over here, her mom's. And then someone was like, "That's going to piss off a lot of customers," and I'm like, "No." That's going to piss off a lot of non-customers.
Yeah, it's going to piss off
because the customer is the
leeches.
person that has the account. I'm not the customer. I'm using their account for free.
I just feel
So
like
I don't
the,
think it's going to piss a lot of people off. I think it'll piss a lot of people off that weren't giving them money anyways.
I just feel like the family account idea could be better thought through, where you pay a higher base price
Yeah,
for the
make it
family
more
account,
expensive.
but then each time you add a family account to it, you pay X amount more. But then that person can be using that account.
Yeah,
anyway.
it's less than them having their own account, but they still get more, and that's how you
or
make
even
it
better,
work.
just get rid of the family account idea and just say, hey, I want to do the multiple account type thing, but this person doesn't live at home, and so you pay just an extra little bit of price to add an extra account to your thing. So Netflix is still making money, but the other person doesn't have to actually buy a whole new account.
Yeah, and that way they are a customer. But that's the thing with the subscription thing, that people are like, well, a lot of customers are going to be mad. I'm like, those aren't customers. If you're not paying for it, you're not a fucking customer. You're
Yeah.
just a consumer. You're just consuming and not paying, which is not evil per se, but it's also not evil for them to expect you to pay to use their
The hard thing about
shit.
this is that Google would be basically paying every single gaming
So that's another
company
thing
that
that-
would. So they can't possibly do that.
That's another thing that would give
And-
Google a lot of control over what game developers. So now that now people are buying their games through a large company as the game service, and that's how developers are making their money. The
They'd
service
still have to
itself
have
has a
s-
larger amount of control of how game developers develop and what type of games they come out with, because Google only wants the most popular that will get people to buy subscriptions. So once you actually have a subscription to one of these services, what you like and dislike is not as important to those who don't have the service. That's their target. You're already using it. What you like and dislike doesn't matter as much as this guy over here. They want this person to start using the service, and so they're going to start developing things to get that person to then subscribe to their service.
If they could partner with like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo and those type of things, where like you could play those games on the consoles, I think there'd be a little bit more ease, and Google wouldn't have complete control over the industry.
I don't think they'll have complete
No,
control.
they won't.
If
I
they're
don't think-
paying
they'll have
for
a large,
if they're paying for the
large
games
say and stuff, but
then they would have a lot of control.
yeah, I mean,
I don't think it will stamp out independent development and like new ideas altogether. I think they'd be more willing to help a game developer publish a title that they feel would be more popular.
Yeah, as a publisher, all publishers have control over the companies they publish for. And they wouldn't even be a publisher. They would just be a go-between.
It would depend on if they could get the games too.
Yeah, and that would be
Their
depending on
library,
the companies.
the price, the yeah,
I
ease of use.
don't get being mad about this idea. I think it's a great idea.
So another
and I think
good
for
idea-
games like Rust, where they're continually being updated, I think that's a great way to support the game.
Another cool idea that could come from this is the issue of cross-platform might just go away altogether. It'd just detect are you using a mouse and keyboard
Well,
or
the-
using a controller and just match you with people using like inputs as you. And so now you're streaming X game through Google Stadia and you're using a mouse and keyboard and you're going to play that game against other people using a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
And so the
Well,
cross-platform
that's
situation
not
will start to go
necessarily
away
the
outside of
case.
exclusives.
Because the Google Stadia, the whole idea is that you can play the game on anything, even your phone.
Yes, yeah.
So
And so if you're
not
playing on your phone,
everybody
you don't
would be
want to match with. So even with your phone, you'll be able to use a controller and stuff on your phone because they already have those out. But it's supposed to allow you to stream and play any game on any device as long as you have an excellent internet connection. And playing it on a mobile device, you're not going to get the best connection. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. But they would probably want to match you against people who are playing the same way you are to give it as much fairness as possible.
I think the idea is mostly to get it on more of a mobile platform. I think is their idea because the mobile gaming mobile gaming is becoming a bigger thing.
It is, and there's a reason for that.
And I
The
think
real
they
idea
want to
is
get in on that by making the phones like a bigger thing as well.
The reason why they're doing that is because being able to play these brand new titles requires a really powerful PC if you're doing it on PC. And that really cuts out a portion of the market. And they made it so you could play it on any device that can run Chrome as a way to open it up to everyone, regardless of the equipment they have to play. And a large portion of them will be the ones using it on phones because that's the only powerful computing device they have or can afford.
Yeah, and that opens up, that's another thing of, it's just like the Netflix thing. Oh, customers are going to be mad, but you're not an actual customer because you're not paying Netflix. Now it's, as opposed to Battlefield 5 not getting a copy sold or used from me, it goes from that to me renting Battlefield 5 through the service and them getting a chunk of change for that rental. They get something out of something they already made because they've already made the game. The game is done. Battlefield 5, all the costs they put into the game, most of the costs, not all the costs, they still have
That would be
upkeep.
something cool
are
that
done.
they could do. So if they did it like that, then I definitely would try it out just to see if I like it.
Yeah.
But like being able to like rent a game from them for a while, if it's like a normal campaign-driven game, you just rent it long enough to play through the campaign. And then you're not paying for the subscription; you're just paying to rent the game. And then if you're playing a multiplayer online game, maybe you pay a small amount of dollars to play X amount of hours online for that game.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to go full in on a subscription but want to try out a new game just to see if you like it, then that does open a kind of a world of possibilities.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can do that. I mean, I think Redboxing games is
but I
a
don't
great
think
way
they'll
to-
do that. I think they will require subscription.
Yeah,
I think
subscription seems like the stronger way to go.
I think Redbox is a great way to do games too. And that, again,
I'm not taking
They'll
anything from
probably-
the developer.
Hopefully they'll let you do it like you can
They'll
either
probably
pay
be
for
like
it
a
for a year or you could pay for it for like a 3-month chunk. That might be cool if they broke it up like a PlayStation subscription where you can pay for X amount of time in one go and then have it for that long without having to pay a monthly subscription.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because then if I don't want to keep paying for the subscription, don't want to cancel it, like keep reactivating it, canceling it, depending on what I want to do.
Be
If
able
I
to
could
pay
just
like
buy
$200 for the year, and then
if I could just pay for the whole year in one go, and then, or just pay for 3 months in one go for like $50, and then don't have to worry about it renewing.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. And I know a lot of people are kind of afraid of that, and I can see
I don't
why.
I can see.
But the reason why you're afraid of it is because you're living in the system that's currently in place, and this doesn't work with that system.
The
This
only
is a
thing
total
that
revamp.
would piss me off is if I start paying for a subscription service, and for whatever reason I'm getting input lag, because that's the one major issue with streaming games is you're not running the game locally. You are downloading the game from
they're
someone
running
else's server,
the game,
and that
they're
takes time.
showing it to you.
And then when
basically.
you put an input, they actually have to take your input and send it back to the Google server, which in turn sends it to the server the game is being run on to move your character, and then send the input back to the Google server, which then sends it back to you. You're just adding so many steps for latency that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that would kill any rhythm game that would be available.
It would kill any rhythm
or
game, and it would kill
any
Any PvP
Any
would be
PvP or like Souls type game, like where you have to be fast.
They would only work in games that are more designed as an experience rather than
Or if you were
game.
able to download.
So if all you care about is 4K,
The download would be nice, but I don't think that.
but
that
you
would
see,
be,
even if you
because
download
the download
the game,
would mean
you need
that
a
you have
machine
to run it.
Yeah. So if you download it,
Well,
you
that's
need
true.
the machine to run it locally.
I'm going to be impressed if they're able
That's
to pull
why it
this
would be
off.
cool if they would be able to work.
And
with
so
the
there's
consoles.
demonstrations of it. Of course, it's always done on equipment that's directly tied to their network to make
Yeah,
it work.
so it's like super fast.
And so it's super fast. To get it to work, there's going to be like a minimum network requirement in order for it to actually work for you. In online gameplay, they could probably match you up with people with the same ping as you, same latency as you, but it's just I don't see this being a thing until maybe even the generation after this one that's coming right now.
Yeah, I think eventually it's going to be possible where it's going to be instant, no lag, no noticeable lag for us. I think you'd be hard-pressed to convince me otherwise, because
I will not buy into it until I'm satisfied with the amount of lag I experience.
I feel like maybe we should try it when it comes out.
Yeah, for sure. But again, I'm not going to be happy about it.
Yeah. Hopefully they give us like a week free subscription.
and there's something to be said about owning your own blazing fast PC and then buying a game and then having it be yours.
I also
and
like
not
the
having
same
to pay a
feeling
monthly
in
subscription.
consoles.
But with consoles and with an actual nice PC, that's a fucking chunk of change to leave.
Yeah.
And it starts, by the next line of games coming out, you're already outdated. You already have to upgrade parts to keep it as fresh and new looking as possible. Whereas with these large servers being run by Google or elsewhere, they're the ones paying all the costs to keep things running as fast as possible, and you're just paying them a subscription.
I wonder if they'll come out with some kind of like Google TV where they have like a connection to
Built-in
it.
Stadia stuff?
Yeah, it's basically so you can like
That's a
quickly
definite
do it
possibility.
and have it feel like a home console type deal.
Yeah.
With kind of like a Bluetooth connection for
I
controllers.
mean,
and
really,
things.
it's such an open area in the future that it's hard to visualize
Yeah,
exactly the form it'll take, but just what it would bring to us as a consumer. That's easier to figure
I
out.
kind of wonder why they would announce it now when it doesn't feel like they can have the.
Well, they did
The
do a test where it
library.
seemed pretty decent, but
Well, I mean, yeah, they can show you what
It's-
they can do
Craig,
from their
Craig,
shit.
Craig,
but
it's early access game hardware, so you pay for the alpha right now, and you give them money just to help them get it to the
like
finish
early
line.
access. The only one that I fucking ever bought into is Rust, and that's because like Schweiss was fucking playing it and told me to get
Yeah, it's
it.
not really early access, though. I think we all know that game's never going to be done.
That's true.
Which is
the game
fine.
is never going to be
I don't
anything
feel-
more than
I don't feel cheated.
Alpha.
Do you? I feel like my time in Rust was well enjoyed.
yeah. It was fun.
Even if
it
we never
was,
go back,
it
I
was
never
like,
got to realize my end goal in Rust, where I wanted to kite a bear into a lower level of my house and just keep it pinned, but have a secret way that I get in. And so if everyone wanted to break into my house and still loot my shit, there'd just be a fucking bear down there.
A bear pit.
Didn't we trap animals? I feel like we did something like that. Where we trapped like a shitload of like rad bears or some shit in something where we could like lower the door.
I think we did it with wolves or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was wolves.
Oh man, good times.
I think I want to do that in Conan as well. Like, have the floor one just be full of fucking exiles.
Yeah.
So you come in and it's like the big, gigantic Amazonian women. The Amazon women, like, I get 6 of them in there and they just fucking rape anyone that comes in. Death by Amazonian snoo.
Have a trap door on your main floor to, if someone pisses you off, you pull the lever and they just fall
Yeah.
into the Amazon.
Oh,
the
man.
lever.
Oh man, like you could have just have a bunch of houses with them in there, just like just waiting for somebody to attack you, and then you like send out a guy to like open the door for them.
Yeah. I think the trend is going to be subscription, though, and I don't dislike the idea.
I
if
am
you're
on
a
the
guy
fence
that
about it
dabbles.
still.
If you're a guy that dabbles.
Do you dab? Do you dabble a little bit?
No, I don't. I play the shit out of something. So I don't know if it'll necessarily work
in
for
my
me.
opinion.
Yeah,
if
for people who
if
like to
you're one
100%
person
a
who-
game, that would
who puts
be-
a lot of time into one game and one game exclusively, that might not work. But if you wanted to be someone who's always
man.
playing the brand new games,
There'd
as
have
soon
to
as
be
they come
Google
out, then it works
achievements.
perfectly.
They'd have to have Google achievements.
They'll bring back your Google Plus account, but it's just to track your gameplay.
Yeah.
I need the
Didn't they shut that
points.
down?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See, not everything Google does works, and this
No.
might not work, but it's a good idea.
The
And it's
thing
something that Japan's
makes or
doing.
breaks
There's a Google
the thing that makes or breaks.
keeps
So three
track of
things
points.
that will make or break this. Latency, number one. If they can get a smooth experience from beginning to end and consistent, mind you, not just on good days, consistent, then that'll be a huge step. Number two is player count. If a lot of people hop on or start using this, then the overall experience, I feel, will be better for everyone who is using it in the long run.
Yeah.
And then the third one is price. If
Well,
I do not
fourth
feel
one
comfortable,
would be library. They'd have to have a
Well,
large
they
access
would
of
get-
games and not just like
right off the bat,
random third-party games that
Right off the
everybody
bat,
can get from anything.
non-exclusives will probably be a go. So for the majority of what's in Steam, you're probably good.
Yeah, I can't imagine those companies being like, no more money for us. They might.
Majority of what's
Well,
on
they can.
Steam, I feel like it'd be good. The game developers who are making their own game launchers, not so much. You're probably not going to get that from them.
It kind of depends
right off the
because like
bat.
that Epic Games is putting their own games on there,
And then
then-
any console exclusives you're not going to get and stuff like that.
God, I kind of wish I had a desktop again now.
Why?
Because you could just pull up Chrome and fucking play.
play the Google Stadia.
And be like, what are you going to do, fire me? And then they
Yes.
do. But they
Yes,
will.
they
They're
will.
like, yes, that's exactly what we're doing. Like, oh, shit.
What? This isn't my job.
Yeah, I thought I was Stadia Charlie tester. Because that's out. Yeah, I think those
on my
are...
work network, man, that'd be great, dude. I have fucking great internet speed at work.
You got that like T1 or whatever.
Yeah, the guy. I'll have to pull it up again, but it's glorious, fast.
It's probably
internet.
even better than mine.
Oh yeah,
Because you guys don't have that many people there, and you have a total like a fucking S1 or T1 connection, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to as a business. It's like retarded not to. I think that's a great theory, and I do think that's totally what everything's moving towards.
So,
I mean, the
I'd just
Xbox
be
has one, PlayStation has one.
interested to see where that goes in the next few years. Again, I don't see it becoming as large right away.
You think it might be like what
VR.
VR is now? Like where VR was the big gimmick thing, and now it's just like, well, VR is here to stay, but VR is not the top of the world.
VR,
I would like
think will
VR to
slowly
make-
get there. I
Yeah.
want an awesome VR shooter is what I want. I want an awesome VR shooter experience. That'll make me happy. But right now, the technology is too expensive, and that bars most people from investing into it, which then bars the developers from investing a lot of time into it. Because it's the money sink. In order someone to buy your awesome VR game, they have to pay a lot of money up front into the expensive VR technology, which is the main barring thing for VR.
Yeah, that makes it tough.
So it's ridiculous to dump millions into a game that only the top 1% can afford.
Yeah. kinda, yeah.
So whereas this Google streaming or this video game streaming targets basically anyone with an internet connection. And so it opens up the world of gaming to almost everyone they can. And that's the main difference between this and VR.
Yeah.
It's just the execution. I still don't think we're going to see video game streaming be a very big thing until after this next generation.
Yeah.
And so maybe 10 years in the future, it'll be a thing that's reliable.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited to see what comes of it, though. I think it'll do great things, even if it doesn't totally dominate the world like VR. Like PlayStation VR, not a huge deal, but it is still cool and it is still going. So
PlayStation VR is just a fun gimmicky thing.
yeah, it doesn't have
Whereas
to be.
when you play VR games on the PC, you're almost getting into like this is a legitimate thing to sink a whole bunch of money into. But again, it's the prohibitive costs for the consumer that prevents awesome titles in VR coming out right now.
Yeah, it's just too expensive.
Yeah, it's way too expensive. Like the ones for PC are like upwards of $400, and then the fucking PlayStation one is at least like $200 or something.
Yeah. The PlayStation one's.
That's
more
why
than
we're
that.
going to see.
It's more than $200. I thought they had a price drop.
That's
Not
why we're going
that
to see.
I know of.
That's why we're going to see VR lag for a while until making VR extremely accessible is and cool, meaning they develop a cool way to experience VR and then accessible for the average consumer. What I think might keep showing up, I mean, it already has started to show up, but VR arcade bars. That might be a thing.
So it's $300.
Yeah, like our VR experiences more than
VR experiences, but then if they get the OmniTrack thing developed where it's like a multi-directional treadmill for you to walk on, they're developing that right now, kind of like a Ready Player One type idea. That actually, for the movie, they got their idea for that from the people developing that track itself. It's super expensive, but a fully immersive VR experience like that would be awesome to go do, but really prohibitive for the average person to buy. So I think VR bars might be more of a thing. Like an arcade, but you just go in for whatever VR experience you want.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I'm excited to see how those two things clash: the subscription and the VR. Like maybe with the subscription thing, it'll make VR a little easier because you just subscribe and you have a bunch of options rather than just buying it. I don't know. I don't know if they'll go hand in hand. I think VR or subscription is going to be more for those, like you said, those people that dabble, or like I was saying, like those who play a lot of games a little bit. So like the Craigs, I think would benefit more from the VR as opposed to like you or me.
I wonder if like Japan has those internet cafes, and with gaming streaming games becoming a popular
there's
thing,
there's
I wonder
some of those
if,
here too.
I wonder if
yeah.
that'll have like a huge burst.
Yeah, so
where
definitely
they start doing more like arcade type deals.
It'll make it easier for things like that to exist because they don't have to put up the huge cost to buy all of the excellent machines for people to come in.
Yeah, and they just
play
have
on.
like super great internet for everybody to play on, so that you can just go and spend a couple
But
hours.
then again, I mean, the only reason why you'd go there is to use their excellent internet.
well, yeah, but I mean, like it'd be you could just go play with friends, so you'd like actually be hanging out, and you get the experience of doing that while going out somewhere where you can possibly like get drinks or whatever, while you're there, because it's maybe it's a bar type deal as well as
Reminds
being
me I should,
kind of an arcade thing.
Take you guys to the arcade bar up in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it would be something like that, but with internet streaming games.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Again, I can't predict how when this will
nobody
take
can
shape.
really predict.
But those are my assumptions based off of, I don't know, just how I see it going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'm excited to see what the future brings, but we, of course, as always, will have to wait. But
10 years is my long estimate before
Yeah.
we see video game streaming become an actual mainstay in gaming.
where it's the thing, it's a console breaker by 10 years.
10 years.
And that's why I think the consoles are getting
Well, the
into
console
it themselves.
lives are shortening to about 7 years. So the next generation coming out next year will probably last 6 or 7 years, and then we'll probably see more streaming stuff start coming out or gaining popularity.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Guys, though, you know what else I'm excited for?
What?
Hog League. Let's talk about that. All right, guys. So last time the Hog League matchup was Schweiss's Sweatmeisters versus Abrak Cracks the Whip. Craig and the Bitches versus the Most Offensives. Doesn't Count versus Scott's Spot. Dylan's Rominger's Rompers versus Chase versus the World. And then A for Last Place versus Matunika's Heroes.
Didn't A4 tell you that his team name was Team Extreme?
No, I think he said A for last place is what I remember. Unfortunately for him, he did in fact lose to Bill. So, I mean, he is last place, but he's not the only one that's last place. There's a big tie. A lot of people haven't won a game yet, including myself after this week. So, Bill conquered A for Extreme. This is one of the closest ones this week, with 456 team points to A4's 425. Really strong effort from A4. He clearly decided to go and get...
He got like half his team points by himself, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So team points for A4 Extreme. He got 236 of those points. Second highest was 74 for Simon Parker. And for Matunica was second place on his team with 130, and Stega Rock had 133. So some pretty big numbers, and the little guys that really added up on the team, though. So guys, just log whatever you can. So Matunica's Heroes moves to 2-0 in the league, and A for last place, truly last place, with 0 for 2. Very brutal. So now we have Romager's Rompers versus Chase versus the World. And Chase, once again, coming out on top this week. He took A4 Extreme down last week, and now he's taken down the great D-Rom. This was a bit of a blowout here. 342 team points to Dylan's 112. Highest score on Dylan's. Porcupine Racer with 50. Highest score on Chase's Thy Death Sword with 98. So complete rout with that one. It's okay though, guys. It's okay. You can come back. So Chase also moves to 2-0 on the season. And unfortunately for Dylan,
It's 2 losses.
no, he's 1 for 1. 1-1. So he's doing better than everyone sitting at this table right now.
Lies.
Except for Craig. He's doing the same as Craig. So now we have Jake versus Scott. This one, Jacob Wright, his team, 125 points, highest score, Black Chris Games. Scott Spot, 296 points, with Scott himself, the king of his team, at 106 points. So Scott Spot now moves to 1-1 in the league and doesn't count 0-2. Truly not counting this season. Third matchup, or fourth, Craig versus Joe. This one had potential, Craig, but Joe has proven quite the foe in this fucking thing. Caleb's team lost. It was 502 to 295, and the highest scorer for
502?
Joe, yes, was 219 from Kaoki. Caleb Craig's highest scorer was Goodman Irat with 139. So Craig, you got fucked.
Oh, yeah. Fucking me and Irat got all our points. It's fucking bullshit. Guys, I have like 10 people on my team. What the fuck?
We all
Hog your hog.
We all have 10 people on our team. And this week's ultimate matchup
There's no excuse.
between the two hosts, we have Abrat Cracks the Whip versus Schweistika's Schwettmeisters. And guys, you let me down here. Abrat Cracks the Whip, Cameron's team. Now, I did reduce Bonsack from 600-something to 50 points.
Oh, you did? So you took those points way out.
And I had 700-something points before that, and now I lost to Cameron by 50 or 49 points, 272 to 223.
I thought you said all of us lost at this table, but apparently not.
Well, I mean, I guess all of us couldn't.
The
if we
important
were-
ones is what he meant.
Yeah, the important people lost. Those that matter. So Schweiss's Sweatmeisters, we are moving to 0-2 on the season.
How many points did you bring in?
I brought in 40.
How many did I do?
You brought in 100. So, yeah, and Kabatakan Duke was 122 on your team, and my high score was R. Lennon 72 with 88 points.
All right, and so just before you guys call bullshit on Schweiss reducing the 600 points to 50, the reason is it's clearly he was logging his hog from the beginning, so we need to counteract that.
Did he
The
have
only-
0 before?
What do you have, Schweiss?
I think he did have 0 before.
Yeah. So we need
600
to,
is too much for a week.
Yeah, it's a little hard to get 600 points in a week. We're going to consider anything over maybe like 300 suspect. You can make a case for it, but yeah, if you're logging all your hog from the beginning, expect to only get a fraction of that because we need people to do it every week consistently.
Yeah,
so
and
that we get the points.
And the thing is you'll still get a good amount of points because 50 points isn't bad.
Yeah.
And it's very doable in a week. So you'll still be a good contributing member of your team if you, in fact, do that.
And then continue to just log your hog, and then you will also be a valued member of your team because you'll be logging your hog, unlike, like, I don't know, 70% of your team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good turnout, though. We've got some people getting into it. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for participating. It's a lot of fun seeing this go down and seeing people join the hog finally. But here are the standings. So we have a 3-way tie for first place between Matunica's Heroes, Chase versus the World, and the Most Offensives with 2 wins, 0 losses. Abrac cracks the whip, and Craig and the Bitches, Scott Spot, Romingers Rompers, a big 4-way tie with a 1-1 record, and A for last place doesn't count, and Schweiss's Fettmeisters, all bottom of the barrel, fucking 0-2. This is ridiculous. The two of these, Jake is the ultimate in counting, and suddenly now we do a league, and he's 0-2. He only had 18 points last week too. Like
Wow.
what? What is that? Like fucking 3 albums or 6 albums?
Maybe keeping
Maybe.
track of people's points week to week will root out some shenanigans that have been under the radar before.
Yeah, maybe. But guys, thank you so much for joining the Hog League. We did lose. We lost this week, guys, but you know what? We put up a good fight, and if it weren't for our new rules, we would have fucking destroyed Abrac and his whip cracking fucking ways. But instead, we lost. It's okay. I don't hate you for it. At least those who got points. But I think
Yeah.
that's...
People who have points are safe from our wrath.
Exactly. So, guys, please get on there. It's hogib.herokuapp.com. Log your hog. Join the fun. Join the fray.
Yeah, there's a link to it on our website, which is nudeclan.net, so you can go there if you can't find or remember the apps.
Yes,
link.
and you can tweet us individually. You can tweet me at UFF Podcast
Me at Obsidian Ba.
Me at Nude Clan Cam.
and the show at Nude Clan Podcast. Also, the next game for Craigert and myself,
Is Legend of Dragoon.
Legend of
The
Dragoon.
longest game on that list.
I did not know that, and I'm excited to see how long it takes me to get through that 4-disc beast. So, guys, stay tuned for the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, or not Ultima, Jesus Christ!
Is this Ultimate Final Fantasy?
No,
now?
I have Final Fantasy
Oh,
15 pulled up on my thing, and I just read. I read Final Fantasy, and just my brain just like tagged it in there. For the next episode of Nude Clan, until then, as always,
Enjoy the nude.
Time to get good.
live always in the nude.
Yeah!